All right, so shall we read this thing? Well, and by of course we, I mean me, since the only one here is me. Well, the two dogs, Sam and Dean, and the two cats, Dr. Bombay and Pudding Cup. Hey, did you know if cats could talk, they would lie to you? It's a true story, or a true quote. It's a meme, which is, I guess, a quote on a photo. Whatever. That is a meme, right? This is called A Black Hole Goodbye. I am a constellation of stars that have fallen apart, and there exists only the slightest bend in my burn that might set me aright. There are fortunes and names attributed to my frame, yet none of those that see me through their lens recognize the full burden of my measure, of my grain. That I am beyond the moons and their dunes. I am beyond asteroids and their aimless journey through the void. I am beyond your understanding, your comprehension, your instruments and satellites. There is Libra, there is Taurus, Capricorn and Orion, while I am Gemini. Speak of the choreographed madness that is the trajectory your sphere now winds, and stare skyward to cast wishes upon a star burning brightly within the plasma it is bind. There exists still a magnetism between the orbit I once held so certain in our shared space and time, just as it appears flared out and drawn ever weighty by the gravity of the moments that fell the framework of our celestial design. As you wish upon stars shooting across your winter sky, I too find myself wishing that you too are missing what was our solar flare, a stellar captivation between you and I. There are motes of light that set sailors on fragile vessels with the confidence of truth in course and direction without the clarity of forward sight, and that has been my long-standing duty, that I have honored each and every night. Yet now as I wander without proper structure, without a weighted function, and without the burden of expectation, I do find that there is a certain freedom within the chaos of choices, from new voices, without all the noises I held close to me for ages untimed. My dear Terran soldier, did you know the larger the star, the more fuel we consume and the faster we die? We burn brightly for you and light up your sky with internal nuclear explosions of hydrogen and helium that will ultimately be the end of our life. And then you shall look to another, as we only exist in memory and your mind. Perhaps your heart, but no longer your sight. I have been a sentinel for the expanse of my existence. I have observed your falls, your grace, and the determination to move forward, while always wishing to me there were few precious moments of star-crossed love you wish you could rekindle and rewind. I find now that perhaps I understand what it is to choose, what it is to move with the oceans, how to be fluid, what it means to be human, not static, not blind, what it means to love with your center mass, with your everything, with the swollen heart of your falling star, with your life. I finally understand what it means to love and to die. I will ultimately end in a cascade supernova. I will be radiant with radiation funneled into the void, my Valhalla, my heaven, my afterlife, just within your sight, for one last time. I loved you for all that we had. A black hole, goodbye. Copyright me, Brian Milici. December 8th, 2015 is today, and it also happens to be a special day because it is my best friend Steve's birthday, and we actually just had wings and watched the Saints game. He makes amazing buffalo wings. So the game was terrible. I mean, it was hilariously awful and awkward, and we blew it at the end, which we're really good at this year. We're really good at blowing? Yeah, pretty much. Uh, well, I'm not. The team is. Let's get that clear. Um, anyway. Uh, so, but there was a funny moment. Well, there were a lot of funny moments. But at one point, Steve is like, let me teach you how to eat a wing. Now, okay, so rewind. You guys, most of you remember me helping them move into their amazing new palace of a home for months. And during it, we were folding towels or something, or I was going to fold the towels for him. And I folded this rectangle into a smaller square. That's how you fold a towel, right? No, no, no. He comes over and goes, dude, you're folding them all wrong. And I had folded like four. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How am I folding them wrong? And he said that, well, here's the deal. You have to, shook it out. He goes, you have to fold it over this way, like a third, and then another third. Then you fold it over the other way, a third, and then another third to make this really awkward looking roll almost. But it wasn't a roll. It was still like flat. I mean, because you can roll them up. Those are easy. And he goes, all right, that's how you do it. And I'm just like, what? And I'm looking at Sam, and she's just shaking her head. And she's like, he's been telling me and showing me how to do this for months, and I still don't know. I'm like, okay, whatever. Why do you do this? He goes, okay, because the ledge where we hang them on is not a full shelf. And there's no door there. I mean, it's above like the washer and the dryer. He's like, and it looks awkward. They're slightly hanging over. And I'm like, really? So we go over, we look, and it was barely noticeable. I'm like, you don't like that? And he goes, well, look. He put it up there, and it was perfect. It was flush. And I'm like, it has to be that way. He goes, well, yeah. And I'm like, I don't even want to see your sock drawer, dude. Seriously? I mean, this bothers you? And he's like, you have to do it right. Otherwise, it's just not neat. And he's not really a neat freak. That was just weird. I said, all right, dude. I mean, that's your thing. Folding towels, funky, whatever. So he's like, well, let me show you how to eat a wing. This is like 6 months later, right, about the wing. And I'm like, what? I just looked over, and he had the bone, and it was like nothing on it. I'm like, I thought it was a drumette, but no, it was actually a wing. So he takes the wing, and he breaks it in half, right, which makes sense. And then he just sticks the whole thing in. And why am I showing you? There's no wing here. Just my hand. Anyway, so you pull it out, and it's a clean bone. So I didn't want to do this in front of him because that would give him some sort of weird satisfaction. I'm not about pleasing my friends. You guys know all that. So anyway, he leaves the room, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking try this. I'll break it. And I'm actually doing that. He came back in, and he's like, oh, it works, doesn't it? And I'm like, well, kind of not really, because I actually left a little bit on there. I mean, I'm not good at cleaning a bone, haha, with my mouth. That would, yeah, not practiced with it. But for all you ladies out there, if you want to show me you're expert, don't. That's awkward. Well, I mean, if you want to show me, no, that's even worse, Brian. Bad Brian. So I was like, well, not really. And then I ended up doing it, and it was kind of like cartilage in there. And he goes, see, it works. I'm like, well, hey, thanks for teaching me how to eat a wing, Steve. Hey, next, can you show me how to fold towels? And Sam goes, wait, I've been married to him, and I still don't know how to fold them. I'm like, really? Well, isn't it like you have to like fold them over to a third and a third, and then like backwards? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, then there's like an isosceles in there, and a 90-degree angle, and she goes, oh yeah, and then you have to like you have to roll it properly. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then she goes, and then you have a towel. I'm like, right. And I just said, and it goes on the ledge that you no longer own in a house that you no longer live in. She goes, yep, pretty much. And Steve didn't say a word. Normally he would have said something. He just goes, fuck you guys, man. Which is great because Steve will pretty much always get the last word. He's big on that. He will actually argue any point out. I mean, he won't let things go. And he loves to debate and be a contrarian. I know, where do I get that from, right? Well, I don't get it from him. We're just kind of, I guess we're all just really surly down here, right? Or, I'm sorry, Henri as Sam or Shay or anybody from the Midwest says Henri. It's ornery, people. It's spelled anyway, and they have the definition wrong. But anyway, surly. That sounds just better. You kind of seem like a pirate. But so we've actually had like debates where he'll pick a point that I've said that he doesn't even agree with, but he'll start arguing that point. And then I will start arguing against that point, even though I don't care about that point, right? And then we would literally have a 15-minute debate until I finally get flustered. I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about this? And he's like, I don't know, it's just fun. And he just everybody loves to see me flustered. It's very ordinary. Actually, it happens a lot. And it's funny. I like people to smile and laugh, so what can you say? But we've had arguments, like debates really, about things that we don't even believe in because we'll go on these tangents and all right, whatever. I've talked way too long. If you guys stayed and watched all this, you should probably reconsider all of your life choices because your decision making is pretty much terrible at this point, and I don't recommend you do anything of the sort in the future unless it's about me. Then you make that decision and you watch what I put out there because it's important. All right. It was actually chilly out today in New Orleans, which chilly for all of you people in the north means that it was breezy and slightly. It was like in the 50s when I went out earlier. Oh, it's nice. Um, and so have a good have a good day. Um, remember, tip your waiters, and I will be here all week. All right, that was terrible. Bye.